Welcome to the Nexus Unloaded podcast. This is Will Crozier.
And I'm Zac Congonis. We are here to bring you the best solutions to your lifting problems. Through our real-world experience, we hope to break things down in a digestible, applicable, and entertaining way. We can figure something out in the next 4 seconds. Just introduce the topic and I'll pull something out of me.
You've already missed the opportunity. We are jumping in today with a ProRaw recap. It's almost a little bit late. I would love to do this fresh out of the comp, but we travelled up to Townsville straight from ProRaw. So we were in Melbourne, competed, Thursday, Friday, Saturday handling, and then the Sunday for me competing, and then Monday straight back into clients and straight back into work and stuff, and then flew out of Melbourne on the Wednesday, spent the whole day traveling and straight to Townsville for the Nexus's gym's first comp under our banner. So that's where we've been in this weekend just gone at that GPC comp. There was really good like community show, really good lifting, and it was good for us to get in that gym and see that. So I'm really looking forward to the comps that we have on later this year. We have a novice comp up in Townsville, a strongman comp up in Townsville, and an APL comp up in Townsville in September. So a year packed full of events, which I'm quietly excited for. I think they're gonna be big. You don't say that much in not all that far North Queensland, but I'm quietly optimistic about the comps out there. I think they're going to be really, really good.
Did you get every person in Townsville at the comp on the weekend?
Not quite. It's still powerlifting, so unfortunately, you still just have friends and family. You still even when it is Townsville, you can't attract people that aren't powerlifters or powerlifting friends and family to powerlifting comps. It's not that exciting still, but. Yeah, we did a good job. There were a few people there that didn't need to be, that showed up, which is great for powerlifting.
What do you mean that didn't need to be?
They weren't friends or family. Were there they weren't friends or family.
Own volition.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but the next one, with the strongman and stuff, we're planning on doing that more as like an event, like a bit of a showy thing, because you kind of can do that with strongman. So I'm sure that as the events roll on, we'll get some excitement happening. Like I said, I'm confident. I don't want to say anything yet because then people will hold me to it.
Do you have any plans for the actual events yet for the strongman? I heard you were just going to do 7 different types of deadlifts and then compete yourself. Is that a rumor or is that true?
No, that's slightly true. It was discussed. I was just going to have a silver dollar deadlift, axle deadlift, car deadlift, and maybe like an actual deadlift just as a final. But no, unfortunately, I have to actually do strongman stuff. So, stones and stupid overhead events or whatever, that.
All the dumb things.
Yeah. Stuff that you do. You're more suited to that. I heard you're going in it. Jack was actually calling you out, Coach Jack.
I unequivocally know.
I believe you even at one point said that you were going to do it, mate. So.
I said that it's not. I said that I might, but also. I don't want to pick up stones. There's nowhere
heavy stuff.
There's nowhere near me that actually has any strongman equipment. So I'd have to go down to what's probably Marty's gym and fucking do some things. I don't know. I'm tired and old.
Actually structure your programming, yeah.
Yeah, I'd need an actual program.
I was actually having a conversation with somebody yesterday who's known you a while, and we were saying that I think people would be surprised if you decided, like, fuck it, I'm going to do a strongman comp in 6 months and dedicated yourself to it, or a powerlifting comp and dedicated yourself 6 months. I think both yourself and people would be surprised at the numbers things that you could do. I think you'd actually go really well.
The biggest explanation of that is what Vince brought up at ProRaw, and this has happened so many goddamn times. When someone actually meets me, they're like, "Oh wow, you're not like 5'6". Vince said,
well, your camera angle right now is not exactly doing you any favors.
No,
you're like
not.
Sitting at the very bottom of your screen. Meanwhile, Will takes up the entire screen.
Well, it's just my seat reclines a lot, and there we go. It's a little bit better.
Better.
I'm in fact not small.
How tall are you, Zac? Give the listeners.
Give us a visual breakdown.
I am 6'2", and I think I'm still like 107 kilos. I haven't lost that much weight.
Bad.
So
Not bad. And how thick are you?
Not the girth. The girth has definitely subsided a bit. But I've got veins. I've got veins.
If you're a TV
now.
character, what is the description in the? I don't even know what they call the script or whatever. You know,
what's your avatar? As a...
So the way that I describe my physical appearance is from the back I look like an athlete. From the front I look like your stepdad.
Okay.
That's most powerlifters, surprisingly.
That's it. This from the front, it's incredibly unimpressive in all accounts, and then from the back, it's like Jesus Christ.
You don't have a belly or anything. You're not a big. You're not.
Yeah, but I got like I don't have broad shoulders or big old titties, but I got a big old bunda. So big bunda, big erectors, but the front is
the
just
side raises. Side raise
and hamstrings and quads. You got big quads.
Yeah, post comp. That's all women. Like all the women on my roster who did powerlifting comp. And I'm like, what do you want to do? And they're like, side raises and glutes. Classic.
Just the whole program of side raises and glutes.
That is every female's goals, really.
Yeah.
Not just like athletes,
which works
like
well. I mean,
women in general, just like I want to have shoulders and
wide shoulders and big butt. Yeah, fucking oath.
Yeah,
but in the off, it works quite well because like it's your generalist kind of approach for the off season, which we are advocates of. So I mean, totally fine by me.
So they want to look like a Dorito stuffed into a peach. You know, if you get like a peach, then the Dorito, then you stuck it on the top. And that's the shape they're looking for.
Okay.
Peach Dorito.
Another good visual description.
Thank you, Zach.
That's what we need because
is that accurate?
We're not.
Is it accurate?
We're not a visual format, so most people would listen to this. So we need descriptions like that. You know. ProRaw. Getting back to that. So I was going to talk about my results first and about the day and everything kind of to do with that, and then go through a lot of the Nexus competitors that we had there on the day as well, and give them a brief summary of their performances. So on myself first, I just want to say, like, if you haven't listened to the ProRaw preview episode, go back and listen to that, because we went through kind of like what the prep in general and the plan for the day, and I want to give my coach Matt and everything a bit of a nod with that, because like the plan that we had and we talked about in the previous episode, I feel like we did exactly that. Like it was like the exact plan which we planned out. I feel like on the day, the peak worked really well, and I felt really strong, like really fresh, like just great on the day. All the prior planning, going down early, using the mono, using the benches that I was going to use in the comp, getting my weight under control in that last bit and on location. So like not rushing around last minute, trying to avoid all the just, after fucking Virgin cancels your flight 3 times, all those problems.
Bowser's come in to say hello. He's much bigger
back
now.
into Bowser problems again. And after all that, like the planning really paid off. So like in the preview podcast, we talked about 365, 200, 365. Matt actually put down on my plan 205. I think we might have mentioned that. I'm not sure. But I was pretty adamant, 200 is good enough. But on the day, my second 195 was just a little bit comfortable. And I was like, all right, I have to get 205. I have to stick to master Matt's plan. And 365, 205, 365 was my day for 935. So exactly the plan, and managed to get the win with that. It was a little bit coming into the day, like I don't think I've ever been in a comp where I have had an opponent other than, I think maybe Tom Martin or whatever, but like other than that, where somebody's opened in my weight class higher than me on all 3 attempts. Usually I at least have the deadlift and I can go like, I do one thing last. But Max, who we spoke about a bit, Max Jones from Newcastle, he put in some big attempts to start off, and even though he only got one of his squats, was still 2.5 kilos ahead of me on the squat. And then the bench, I managed to nip him back with 2.5 kilos. And then heading into the deadlift, we were completely even. And I ended up outpulling him after he missed a couple of attempts there. So shout out Max for being a fucking just brutally strong guy. I was a little bit worried there when I saw the openers. I was like, holy fuck, what am I going to do here? But
that's actually one of the games that coaches play, right? And it's something that we will be talking about in future episodes, which is like
just attempt selection
and playing the on the day coaching. Like, there was a couple of people in a few other weight classes that I was talking about post ProRaw that were like, they had their openers really, really light, and then on the day they jumped it up 20, 30 kilos for the opening attempt, or they pulled their opener back to try and make me make silly decisions in the squat and the dead in the bench, knowing that
there's not attempt selection is a weird one. And again, we'll do a whole episode on it, so I won't go hard, but you have to first of all let your ego aside and just completely judge it off what you can actually do, be realistic about it, which is hard to do without a coach. So I'm always half the attempts I didn't even pick. Thomas knew the plan, but Thomas would just go I'm thinking this. What do you think? I'm like, I'm good with what you do, and he would just put it in. So he knows he's been handling me for 8 years, so he knows what my lifts look like, what a hard lift looks like, what an easy lift looks like, and so on and so forth. So he completely trusts his decision when putting in those things. But yeah, my openers at this comp were
very conservative,
which is just because of the time between comps. I feel on that opening bench, which was 185, I feel I literally did it. I'm fuck, I'd do 3 or 4 more, no worries. Hit it, which is a good feeling. Heading into your second, you're fuck, all right, if that one felt like that, I'm pretty good for this. So yeah, I probably wouldn't usually open that conservative, but I've always been a pretty conservative opening person because I'm pretty comfortable with taking bigger jumps. So I'm more than happy to open really light, absolutely nail it, which you want to do on your opener to get a run on the board if you're having an off day. But also you just, in my opinion, you want just huge confidence heading into your second and third attempts. So I'm more than happy to take that one a little bit lighter and just fucking blast it, and then go to my second and go all right, let's get serious now.
Make bigger jumps.
Yeah. There's nothing rougher than having an opening attempt that's just a little bit too hard, and you do it. It just looks kind of shitty. The crowd makes that kind of noise. There's just no worse hit to confidence.
Yeah. If you're asking if it was an opener or not, if I look out of the side of my eye while I'm warming up or whatever, and then is that an opener or
is that seconds?
Straight away, yeah. It's
you're in the shit.
Yeah, and you're right. There is nothing worse mentally than coming out of it and going fuck, my second is going to be tough. And then on the third attempt, you've got the second one was so hard that on the third attempt, you're fuck, do I
even do it?
Yeah, all I can manage probably is 2.5 more kilos. Do I even bother expelling the energy for 2.5 kilos if the comp's close? Sure, but if it's not, maybe not. But yeah, it does suck. I wish everybody would be a little bit more conservative and would see more 8 from 9s and 9 from 9s and stuff on that days. It's hard to say that though, because shit does happen. I've come into comps feeling great, smashed my opener, and then the third's just fallen apart. So,
or the other way around.
Yeah, or the other way around if it was ProRaw 11. But yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll do a full episode on that. I reckon that'll be a really good topic.
On the day coaching.
On the day, attempt selection, all that business. Did you have any thoughts on anything to ask me about my performance before we get on to our athletes and that, or do you want to, or on the day itself?
There was nothing in particular outside of what happened with the blood glucose stuff, because every attempt that I watched, it was pretty much, because you went 9 for 9. Did you get any reds? Or were they all whites?
Yeah, I got one red on the third squat, which to be honest, felt. I was fuck, that was close. When you're coming out of the hole and you're ooh, I don't know. That ran through my head. So I wouldn't have been disappointed if I got an extra red on that, to be honest. Looking back on the video, it was probably 50-50 call.
But when you actually have a look from the front on, you can, and we already know this, you've had the bar lean and the one side.
I shift into my left hip, literally on every squat, even with the bar. So I'm not, I know one side's always going to be a touch lower. So that's a real
Because I was on the side where you got the whites.
Yeah.
And it looked fine to me.
Yeah. It's, for me, this is a common thing in powerlifting and something I've fallen victim to before a lot. But if you're a more hingy squatter, low bar squatter, which is always going to be a bit hingy, but if you're a more, you got a lot of hip flexion going on, like it always feels depth and it always looks depth from the front because you're like fucking chest is on your knees. You know what I mean? Like you get to the bottom and you're like, I got nowhere left to go. But because like your knees, because you've lost balance and because your knees are not having a lot of travel to them, like your hips are still high, but you've just lost position and the barbell's traveled in front of your midfoot a little bit. You're on your toes and it's just a position that you're just not going to get depth in, but it always feels depth and looks depth from the front. But then you look at a side view and you're like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So that was what my third one was. I can feel that like it's going to be a hard, like borderline and probably more difficult squat halfway down the squat. Like I've already like at that point it's already kind of happened. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, there's no adjustments you can make. It's heavy. You're halfway down. You're like, oh, a bit far forward.
1 RM. Yeah, it's already in front of you a little bit. You've already kind of fallen out of position slightly forward more than you should. And you know it's going to be, in my case, like a bit of a good morning and a bit of a sketchy depth call. But you can just get there. So for me, yeah, that's what my third was. My first one, I feel like I absolutely nailed. If I could hit them all like my first, I'll be fucking... I'm good. So that's my goal, I guess, now in regards to squats is like just get my heavy attempts to my heavy ones, like 90% pluses to actually hold position a little bit more consistently. So I only hit 350 during prep. 350 was my best squat during prep. It wasn't bad. It was good. I definitely could have put more on the bar, but like we talked about in the preview, like it was all about stimulus. Like I wasn't attached to 365 because in my last comp before this, I opened on 360. So like they weren't like the pressure wasn't there to hit these numbers. So yeah, that's the goal in terms of squats. In terms of bench, it's just get my shoulders a little bit happier, not be up and down with my shoulders all prep. And I think if I can just bench more consistently, and not have to relearn the bench during the prep, I think that'll go a long way to getting me back to that 220 mark. Hopefully a little bit further. Hopefully like 227, get 500. The American goals.
That little intermediate step, you hit the two, because what's that? You hit the 200, then the next goal has to be the 500 pounds.
It's 220 because you've got the 4 reds if you're in a like a powerlifting gym or 5 blues. So either way, 220 is a milestone because it's like
the 5 blues
next
would be
big
nice.
plate. Yeah.
The 5 blues is way better than 4 reds, especially if you have like the shitty tri-grip hammer strength ones.
Oh, I think it just looks ridiculous.
Clip together. Yeah, that's when you know you're a big boy.
That's why we got the techno gym plates at the gym here because I saw Yuri Belkin using them and I'm like, well, if he used them, I mean,
you should pull a deadlift. Good. You should pull a max deadlift on those one day. Just to assert dominance in your own gym.
I've done bumpers. Like when I've gone and trained at Worlds, I've done like bumper deadlifts because that's all they use. And it's just a fucking joke. Like people that say it doesn't make that big a difference. Like I literally hadn't deadlifted in probably 6 months, walked in, did 300 for 8 because it was just the noodle bar just whipping all over the joint. Just felt like a half leg press. But moving on, to the deadlift. Again, felt brilliant. The 340 opener was about as comfortable as an opener as you can get, I think. I just literally was just like, oh, that's fucking easy. Awesome. Nice feeling. Jumped to 355 for the second. Easy again. The 365, slightly more worried about. Mainly when I walked out on the platform and I was the last deadlift of the flight and every single person had failed their third in my flight. Like, oh,
did they all miss him?
Every single one. There wasn't one person who got their third. And then I walked out, I'm like, the platform's cursed. Like, somebody changed the bar or some shit. I don't know. Like, because it's rare that you see that. It's rare that, usually thirds, especially third deadlifts, like you're going to see a fair few reds on there, but like, not every single person. So, yeah.
Because how many were in the flight?
It was a full flight, so 15 or so.
That's a lot of missed deadlifts.
Yeah. Everybody's pushing their limits. It was a very long day. So you're fucked by the end of it. Completely, like a really long day. I think that was like 7 p.m. or some shit that we were doing that. But I ended up getting the third pretty comfortably. And although my grip held up really well, I didn't feel the slightest issue at all with it. I've still decided to do my usual post-comp hook grip fuck around.
I saw that. It definitely never lasts. Have you done that like after every comp? Like,
I've done it a lot,
hook grip for a
and
bit.
then I get there, I do it for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, fuck, this is just fucking shit. Like, this is just. I mean, it feels alright, but like why?
I mean,
That's always
honestly,
my
I don't
thought line
think
with myself.
I don't think I've ever seen you drop a deadlift.
No. I can get my hands are pretty big, so I can get it. The only reason why I would like to do hook grip is just because when I do like double overhand straps, and it allows me to round my upper back just a little bit, and it definitely feels like way more, like just nicer off the floor. I feel like I don't have to, I don't know, it just comes off a bit easier. So if I could turn my hook grip into as sturdy of a grip as just using straps, I think it would help a little bit. And also it sits like so fucking low in my fingers. Like I don't know, I would have to measure like the distance to the ground or some shit, but I feel like it takes off a couple centimeters of range as well. The only thing at the moment is, like I put on the story last night, is like my brain is just fighting every step. Like, because hook grip is weird. For people that haven't done hook grip, you don't actually like grip it. You don't like hold it hard. You just kind of like, it just crushes your thumb. You kind of like are only holding on like as firm as you would like when you shake somebody's hand. Like that's the amount of like grip power that you're putting into it. It's just like putting a little bit of friction on. And then the rest of it is just hanging there. It's just crushing you, and you're just using your fucking bones to hold on. So just like straps, you're not actually. Whereas when I actually mix grip, I squeeze the fuck out of it, and it's like my brain goes like, "Yep, you've got a real good hold of this. Like we're good to go," and it allows me to put full force into the ground. Whereas with hook grip, because you're not actually holding on and it's just hanging there, my brain's just like,
"You're gonna drop it."
You're not holding on. Like, what are you doing? This is heavy weight. Like, we can't hold this. Like, you're not even holding on. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And my brain's just literally having that battle. And then my hands are like, no, I'm good, bro. I'm good. And yeah, even though all my warm-ups and everything were like secure as fuck, my brain's still there like, nah. Like, I don't know what you're doing, man. I do not know. I don't understand. I'm not having a fucking bar of it. And we'll just have this internal argument about it. So yeah, it's very hesitant and slow from the floor. And I've been told by the Yeti that goes in a number of weeks, 6 to 8, according to him. So I think I'll drag it out for that long, because it hurts way less this time. I've adjusted it. And I figured out a spot where it hurts way, way fucking less. So the painfulness of it isn't really an issue now. It's just like that internal battle is what's stopping me. So if I can get over that, I'm who knows? You might see me, and then I might also do sumo, and then I can pull like, I don't know, what, 500. So
when you adjust for inflation, probably 500 to 600.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the plan for deadlift.
One thing that I had never thought of was the difference between hook grip on the deadlift bar versus the stiff bar. Like, hook grip on a stiff bar just feels horrendous.
Well, you've got a few more. Yeah, nice. You definitely got a few more mil. In thickness of the bar, so that's definitely going to make it that touch harder. But if you've got long enough fingers and thumbs, you're fine. Like if you look at, like, weightlifters are obviously using stiff bars, and I think like it's like 6-7 centimeters or whatever, like, that is the length of their thumb, and if you have that, you're completely fine.
Yeah, but it's also way less weight.
It is way less. Yeah, it's
substantially
not a deadlift max.
Less. Like, during an ollie lift,
but
there's
they're pulling
never
it
a point.
Super explosively. Like,
yeah, but the amount of pressure on the thumb, like, I think I've pulled 310 sumo, and I've pulled whatever. I've done clean pulls at fucking whatever it is, 160. There's not even like the pain on the deadlift, because it's just, like you said, it's just smushing your thumb over an extended period. It just feels awful.
I know, maybe I have to show you. Now I've done 2 sessions of it, maybe I'll show you. Yeah. We should get a hook grip expert. We've talked way too long about for something that we both have no idea about.
That's very true. You just jam your thumbs in there and pray.
Yeah. So that's me. And any other questions? Any other thoughts that you have? People want to ask?
Not really. I mean, nothing really went wrong. I mean, I didn't know your Virgin flight got cancelled.
Got cancelled twice.
I didn't know that, but I mean, it was just a very good performance on the day. And you were pretty confident in the plan that you had.
Yeah. I was confident I could do those numbers. And I think that, other than the first squat where I was super duper nervous, other than that, I was like, fucking, it was easy.
Cheering. Yeah.
I was just like, cool. I'm in. I'm confident. Like, I was just, walking out to the platform going like, all right, I've got this, which is exactly what you want. There'll always be like unsure moments. Otherwise, you're not really doing your best on the day. But for the most part, you want to be at least like mostly confident with your attempts for sure. So if we move on to the other people that we had along the days, I'm just going through my clients here. So jumping with your ones. We also had a bunch of nutrition clients as well, which I don't know if Mikki wants to go through.
Yep.
So we have the Thursday first, which was the Old Dogs, the 50-plus Masters event. And
just a quick shout out to the amount of old and fat jokes that Marcos made over the microphone during that day.
Yeah, that was his one hurrah on the microphone because I think he knew Tim was coming the next day, so he made it his fucking mission in life to get every inappropriate joke he could out of the way by that point. So we had Vince up first, Vince Sominator. He's going to come on the podcast. He's absolutely a planned guest for the future, Big Vince.
Big.
He's big.
He's huge.
Is not exactly how I would describe him.
Don't be mean to Vince. He's a sick cunt.
Vince had an absolute blast on the day. He was super. The thing I love about Vince is just like super. Like you can tell he loves competing. You can also tell Vince loves competing because he's been competing. His first comp was 1981, which was 8 years before I was born, and about I don't know how many years before you were. Way too many. So
he did 16 comps before I was conceived.
Yes. So yeah, if you've been in the game that long, you probably do love competing. I would say. I think that's a easy fact to draw. But yeah, he absolutely killed it. Walked away with a comfortable win in the end.
Comfortable. It was a battle till the end.
Oh, he pulled his last deadlift for the win. I'm not saying that he absolutely smoked him, but like we had a bit more in that deadlift for sure. We were just doing what we needed to win. So, but yeah, really good day for him, all round, and I know he's looking forward to competing some more because he definitely had a bit more on the tank.
And that was PBs on every single lift events as well. So
killer effort.
To be
like
over,
all time PBs.
Yeah.
Not counting the equip stuff.
I was about to say, he started in a time when there was multi and single and all that with that. But yeah, raw PBs, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. How old's he?
We're not saying his age, but he's over 50.
Well, that
yeah, otherwise he cheated. Scandal.
Jesus Christ. To be hitting all-time raw PBs 50 plus, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, so Vince killed it. We'll have him on the podcast down the track, talk through his journey because I think it's quite interesting. Competing that long and the things that he's learned. I'm sure he has a bunch of things that he's learned and forgotten about the sport that we didn't even know. Up next on that same day, we had Christine, who flew over from New Zealand. So she is a fantastic lifter out of New Zealand, and yeah, she came over as our only female Old Dogs competitor. And again, she's had a bit of a rough trot. She just a lot of life stuff in the last couple of years has really held her back. This prep was super all over the joint. This is our first prep working together, so we had a bunch of methods which we kind of trial and error during the prep, which is never a great way to go about it, but it's what we did. But she still came out and absolutely smashed it. And yeah, went really, really well. Not PBs on the list, but like close enough that like you'd be ecstatic with it if you knew the details of the prep and her life leading up to the point. So this is only step one for her. No doubt she will. We've already put lots of plans in place. She gave me a full breakdown of every lift and the whole comp and everything, lots of details. It's a very detail-oriented lifter, so very confident in the plan that we have currently to carry her on forward and no doubt be back next year to take away the number one there. So
still a huge total, though. Like, where does she stack up in the world in that division?
If you put the age calculation on it, she is like right up there, like top few in the world at her weight. And the other thing about her prep, when I say she didn't hit PB, we actually lost a lot of body weight going in. We actually did a fairly extensive cut just for different reasons, health reasons and things and stuff to really kind of like get her in the right spot to move forward. And she actually did quite well at this body weight. So I think that staying at this body weight, recomping there, and just adapting to that kind of shape will do her a lot of good, and we'll see pretty consistent gains from here on, I would say. But yeah, super duper, just brutally strong person.
Because she's approaching 500, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like 500
That's nuts.
500 is a big hurdle for. Like 500 to 75 is pretty much kind of like a milestone for a lot of women, or just 500 in general at any body weight for women. But it's definitely like that 200, 100, 200 is fucking huge. So yeah, she's absolutely going to be demolishing that, I think, given some time at this new body weight and with life being a little bit more friendly in the lead up. She also was a great team player in the day. We, after a rough start where her Uber dropped her off at, Dandenong Road, because it's so fucking massive, like there's multiple, there's multiple points along it that are like the same address. Dumbest thing ever. Dumbest thing. Stupid. Like, I don't know what they were thinking when they designed that. But so she messaged us as we were driving to the comp on the first day and was like, the Ubers dropped me off like not at the gym, but at the right address. And I was like, no, because it's like the suburb after. So, so she ended up taking the Uber way past the gym, drove past the gym, and just went down the road a bit more in this Uber, and then we picked her up and brought her back to the comp, and then so she was a really good team player about it all after a bit of a rough start. So yeah, there's that. I also had actually hit Craig while we're on Old Dogs.
Yeah, go through Craig, the local Tasmanian dog groomer. He had overall a really good prep. He came back, joined the team again for this prep specifically. We had an interesting prep just because his recovery isn't the best. So a bit of a mixed match prep of volumes and just trying to find the structure that worked best for him. And for him, we had one of the best preps that he's ever had. He rounded out a real nice squat PB. The bench and deadlifts didn't go exactly to plan, but still overall walked away with a good total. Thoroughly enjoyed and a third place. So he was pretty chuffed. He had so much fun. And I didn't realize as well, this is his first comp out of Tasmania. First time he's ever travelled for a competition. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, considering that, being on a substantially bigger stage than he has, he put up a real good show. And he's decided to go through for the Capo meet as well in 8 weeks, so he's going to have another crack at the 700.
Love that. Yeah.
He was so close.
Yeah.
It was just the bench. The bench was like, the judges made the right call. Like, he deserved the reds that he got for it, but fuck, it was like one of those calls. It was like, you could have, like, maybe.
Yeah.
It was right, so close.
Yeah, he did really well. The thing I loved about Craig was, well, like, he had the beard dyed red for our colours, the black and red. So absolute massive team spirit out of Craig, as he always is. Absolutely always brings the
number
Nexus
one
heat,
friend
for sure.
of the podcast.
Wearing the Nexus coach Zac shirt as well, and representing Zac as his
representing
coach.
Zac and representing dogs as a dog groomer.
Yes.
Yep. So also, number one podcaster for sure as well. So he'll be listening to this, no doubt. And then the last guy on that day, Andy. Andy has been competing longer than me and trying to get a 300 deadlift for as long as I have ever known Andy. It has been an absolute battle. Like from he's attempted it a few times, and all of it he's like almost got it, but it's always been that number, the 300 deadlift has been the one that just like got away. And then in the last few years, like just life with having a kid and some other stuff happening, and
broke his arm.
Broke his arm, snapped the upper arm clean doing locking out a squat of all things. So
wait, what? How did you do that?
He had some stress fractures during the prep, and then during the comp, he kind of locked it up, and there's just that low bar yuck position that gets put in. It kind of, just put a lot of torque through that upper arm and snapped it.
Yeah. He got the squat. As he was racking it, he snapped it. Yeah.
And then
that is
just a lot of pressure through that. Yeah, but so to recover from that, and then come back, and then he hit me up at the start of this prep and said, let's finally get 300 on the board. And I knew how much it meant to him, because it was like just the most, if you understood all the background, like it was just like that number had just evaded him for so fucking long. And
he was
I was so nervous for him. Like, I was the whole prep. I'm like, oh man, I think we're going to get it. But
you were confident. Like
I was confident in how he's moving, but like he's a guy like loves a bit of G up. Loves to hype up in the gym and on the day. And I was like, fuck, he's going to get out there and it's going to like the number's going to hit him and he's going to get nervous. Or that's what I was thinking. I was like, fuck, because I knew if he misses this, like it's like I would have tried to
game over.
The whole prep was for that one fucking thing. So we took 260, then 280, then 300. So nice, comfortable attempts beforehand. And even though 280 absolutely like fucking absolutely flew, I was still like shitting my pants because I was like, I know how much 300 means this guy.
That was it was more like how nervous you were for the repercussions after, rather than
I was like, he's gonna
not that there was doubt that he was going to be able to get it, because everything in training, all the numbers were adding up. It was just that like if you just spazzed out on the day and just had one of those moments,
the number can get to you for sure. You get mentally challenged, but shout out Andy, absolutely blasted that.
Yeah.
And in the end made it look easy. And
he's like, want more? And I'm like, don't get fucking greedy now.
No, fourth attempt.
Should have gone 305, 310.
I think we could, but I think that was his literal one goal, and he's gone back and he's hitting some bodybuilding now, but we'll see if we can drag him back into the strength side.
Yeah.
Moving on to sleeves day, we just had Kerry Boyce.
Yep, and then we have Bianca with the nutrition as well.
Yep. So
coached by the one and only Dak Strength.
That's it.
Yeah, coached by the missus.
Side.
So Kerry did Kerry things. Not much more to say. She's a veteran lifter, absolutely calm, lovely, sweet.
Sweetest voice like velvet.
And
voice like velvet.
She's soft as velvet, man. Seriously.
But yeah, in a voice, but she's a gun lifter.
Okay,
so don't mistake her. She's tough.
She's tough. Okay, she'll bash you.
Absolutely, yeah.
She's sweet as. If you going back to like the analogies that Zac was using before with like describing people as fruit or whatever, like not that she
Dorito
looks
stuffed in a peach.
Yeah, she doesn't look like that. But if you were to like describe her as like a sweet, like little petite thing, like a little mini, like little cupcake sort of thing. Like she's just so lovely, and I have a lot of time for Kerry.
So Kerry is a mini cupcake?
Yeah, but like a slimline one, because she's little.
A slimline mini cupcake. I think I need to put you through the analogy mentorship.
Sorry, I'm not descripting her body shape. I'm descripting her like personality type.
Fucking hell.
She had a great day. Hit some really good numbers. Went pretty much to plan. A few hiccups, but nothing major. Luke handled her. Her husband, Luke Polly, who's just as much of a veteran, handled her on the day. I had that day off because it was 4 days in a row leading up to my comp is rough, 3 days. So I took that day at home and just watched the stream and frantically messaged her every second that came up on the stream. But Luke was all over it and absolutely just killed it. And then Bianca, the nutrition side.
Jordan had prepped Bianca into this, getting her to the under 60s for her first ProRaw debut on the sleeve day. So that was a pretty comfortable prep for the both of them because she was, underweight well in advance, as we like to get people through, and then maintained her weight in those last couple of weeks, and obviously smashed it out the park with, I don't know if you were handling Bianca or if Dakota was, because I know Dakota had quite a team of people there. So, Zac, any input on the day?
I think Nicole handled her.
Yeah.
Someone from Strength Haven.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. But
I think she went really well.
Yeah, she did. She PB'd everything and
easy.
Yeah, very happy day for her. So on the nutrition front, did well.
On the wrapped women, on the Saturday we had Paula up first. So Paula had about as unconventional of a prep as you can have, just because she is a shift worker, she's a paramedic, and also plays soccer.
High level soccer.
So you're talking shift work, night shifts and just shifts all over the joint, and soccer training, and also decided to take a 2-week trip to snowboarding in Canada in the middle of the prep. Sounds
ideal to me. What's wrong with that?
About as crazy of a prep as you can get, as you imagine. Each week I was like, how many days a week can we train this week? 3. Okay, 3-day program it is. Try and like reshuffle the volume. Then the next week's like, I think I can get 4 this week. Okay, reshuffle it was a lot of reshuffling to try and get in the stimulus that we needed. So, it was quite a prep, but that's what we do, right? We've talked about individualization. That's the type of individualization that we're going to run into a lot of the time, is just helping people get in the amount of work in around their life. And she went really well, and she's straight into
triple bodyweight squat,
hit the big 180. So that was the main goal for the day. And now you're straight back into soccer prep now. So it's crazy ride from her. A great athlete all around. She absolutely underestimates how good she is. I honestly feel like she's just a brilliant athlete on all fronts, but she you never catch her saying that. We had Cody up. Cody this was a first prep sumo, first series prep sumo. So we had in prep a lot of trouble with the deadlift, just classic sumo, being a bit of a pain at the top end, and missed a bunch of her top singles in the back end of the prep leading up to it, which didn't bring a whole lot of confidence in. We're confident as in the other two, but for deadlifts it was just really uncertain as to how they were going to go. But in classic Cody fashion, she went 9 for 9 last year, and she ended up going 9 for 9 this year as well, and somehow just pulling a ridiculous PB'd on every lift, but in the deadlift even absolutely smashed all the ones she failed, plus a lot more on the day. So just classic, just gun competitor.
Got a 600 total, which is what she came there for. Yeah,
brilliant stuff from Cody.
Fucking hell, that's a big total.
Yeah, she has. She has more. I honestly feel like she has still has a lot more to give. Like with the plan that we're moving forward with, I'm really confident we'll carry her to that next level again. And she trains with Sarah Rainbow, so she's fucking putting in the effort. Her and Sarah are a team.
Very much. The two of them are troublemakers.
Yeah, and
one maybe
both bring the heat, so it's no surprise.
If Sarah ever heard me calling her a troublemaker, she'd be like, "What are you talking about? Cody's the bad influence." So Cody's definitely the troublemaker out of the two.
I think she would agree with that. I don't think she would put up an argument.
That's not new news for Cody.
On the Wraps Men Day, it was obviously my day, which we talked about, that I competed at. So I didn't get to handle the boys as much, but we came up with solutions as a team to make it all happen for everyone. We had Dan Mahoney up. So Dan has been with us a while now. Tradie, so has a physical job and always makes things a little bit more fun during the prep to handle those stresses. But came in, we've hit 300 a bunch of times in training, 300 deadlift that is, and for some reason, just on the comp day, it just hasn't ever been put together like it should have been there. But there's just been I don't know, just something mental or whatever that's just kind of stopped him from achieving that. But on this day, he came in, absolutely smashed 300 and was ecstatic with that on his second attempt.
Flew up.
And then we flew up, absolutely belted it. And then we ended up putting in 312, I think it was, for his third attempt, which would have got him the number one. Unfortunately, literally locked it out, actually proper locked it out, and then just slipped out of his hands as he pushed his hips through to the lockout. So dropped that one and ended up getting second place. But
he had a great day though overall.
312 would have been just an epic. That was just the cherry on top. So it was still a great day, really good finish. For him. But
that was trying to take the first place off Reed as well, which is a Nexus nutrition client.
Yes.
So
Always fun to have
always
clients
fun to have
battling it out.
Little battle there, yeah. So Reed came on board, I believe it was November, December, started working with Coach Kirby. So he's based up in Brisbane and had a really good prep. I think he started a couple of kilos over and just as we do, got him down very comfortably underweight and then hovered in and sort of maintained in and around there in those last few weeks of prep too. So Reed had a stellar performance on the day and just a pretty comfortable prep overall. So he was handled by Johnny and overall good fun battle towards the end between him and Dan. So
I'm sure Dan will be back.
Enemies on the
Dan's
day,
the sort
mates.
of guy that'll come back and make it, try and push it to that next level again. They both will.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that'll be a rivalry.
I think
going in the
they're
future.
all looking at like that 10 times body weight total sort of thing, like under 80s. They were, I think it was like mid 7s, high 7s sort of numbers. So
next up we had Anthony. I've got on my list here. So Anthony the Eddie Kruznar had a pretty good prep. Was looking outrageously like a Yeti on the day. Just fucking huge. Very thick boy. And looking super strong in general all throughout the prep. But just unfortunately at the end ran into some weight issues, which stemmed from a few different things. Came in heavy, had to do a bit harsher of a water cut, and so that kind of ruined his squat in particular. The squat, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, but when you cut weight and you kind of like, you trim down a little bit, like it just doesn't feel as stable. Like you feel like you're a bit of a leaf in the wind and just shaky when you get under it. Things feel a lot heavier. So the cutting that little bit too much and probably not being able to rehydrate as easily as he should have, considering it's a 2-hour weigh-in, just led to the squat not being there, and then that kind of, I think, hurt his mindset a little bit for it. In bench again proved a little bit difficult with the weight, but was a little bit better. But then made it up by pulling a 380 deadlift hook grip, which for anybody that knows Anthony knows that he has a little bit of trouble with grip usually, and that's the reason he's dropped his deadlift. He's pulled 405 with straps, so he's well and truly strong enough. It's just the holding on that is hard for him, but he ended up going 3 for 3 on the deadlift and pulling 380, which is a big competition, PB without straps. So that proves how strong he was when he actually got the hydration back in him over the course of the day and the food back in him over the course of the day. I feel like it's not the last we're going to hear from him. I feel like,
it was a lesson learned for
It was a lesson learned. He knows it's a lesson learned. I don't view it as a failure. It's just a lesson. And next time we'll come back in, be at weight, and smash it. I have no doubt at all. That's just the type of guy he is. He makes mistakes and he fixes them.
Yeah.
We had Sean from Nexus Townsville come down. So I prepped Sean over the course of it, and our goals were pretty clear. I remember him saying right at the start, 125 class, 200 bench, 300 deadlift. And we achieved a great squat as well, but then the 200 bench, we got the 200 bench after a prep full of bicep fuckery. So we're happy to get that one. And then the deadlift, again, similar to Dan's one, in that he locked it out pretty much, and then it just slipped out of his hand at the top, and so we missed out on that second goal. But it was well and truly there. It wasn't like, I just didn't move off the floor and it was crap, back to square one.
That was 8 for 9. The last lift was the one that kind of got away from him. And
yeah, but it was just there. You just need to work on it, and we've already gone back. Like I said earlier, went to Townsville on the weekend, so I did some sessions with him trying to improve just his hinge action and his and down the line improve his start position on the deadlift, and I'm sure he'll make 300 a second next time for sure.
Yeah, Zach, you were wrapping his knees and handling him in the morning as well and took care of him. He's a pretty chill dude.
Possibly the chillest. Possibly the chillest dude. He just kind of sat around and did as he was told. It was great. Especially when you're trying to wrap two people at once, because I wrapped River, who we're going to talk about next, and it was kind of directly after River in terms of I have to finish River's wraps.
It's a little
to
bit
go to him.
nerve-wracking for sure.
And he kind of just chilled. He also had the best wraps. And he wasn't picky. I was like, hey man, you picky about your wraps? He was like, nah. I was like, sweet, you're going to get what you're given.
Yeah. Well, he just said, like, he said to me, he's like, I've never been handled before. I've never had someone handle me at comp. So he's like, I usually just take care of myself and do my thing.
Yeah.
So it was nice relief for him just to kind of sit there and be told what to do and where to be and, you know,
All that.
what to eat, sit outside. He's loving it.
Yeah.
What's his Instagram handle as well? Something Shrek. It made me laugh when I saw it when he messaged me afterwards.
Yeah, so there's a few different ones.
Yeah. But I'm confident that this next prep that we do will be another major leap forward, because now we've got our coaching rhythm down. We know like what programs work and the adjustments that we had to make along the way. We can just stick with the whole time. And like I said, that hinge, just getting his hinge down. And also I think the plan is to cut back to 110. So I think big shake up in his future. I think there's going to be a lot of good stuff to say this time next year. And then River, like you mentioned, you handled him on the day because he was in my weight class, so I couldn't quite. It was a bit hard to handle do my own thing on the platform. And then
he was
also,
in your weight class as well, though, so it did make it a little bit.
Yeah, it was really good. I got to hang out with him the whole day because obviously we did like all of our warm-ups together, and it was just really good to hang out with him and just talk shit the whole day. So he had a really good day. How was he with you? It was just nice and calm.
Extremely cruisy. Both of them were just very, very easy to handle, which was lovely.
When you come in with kind of like expectations, but just happy to fucking be there, like those are the best people to really work with on comp days. They're just like, I'm just damn happy to be here, man. Like,
yeah, that was his first taste of a comp of that site. So that was the first comp of both that sites for both Sean and Rev. So I mean, for them to come in and be super calm at your first kind of ProRaw like big event, like it's a hat off to them.
I think that was a bit of a theme across the whole competition, at least for everybody who I interacted with or helped out. Everyone was kind of just happy to be there, and there wasn't anyone being super neurotic across the team, which is always lovely. And I guess that comes down to preparation as well. It's like if you have a good plan and you're not coming in absolutely shitting bricks, but it makes a really big difference to the tone of the day and just how smoothly it all runs.
Really long day. Yeah, but I think it's how me and you both handle people as well. Because like your influence as a coach on people, again, a game day thing to talk about in the future, but like how you handle people and your attitude, your tone, like how nervous and excited you are kind of rubs off on the person that you're with. And so, if you can be calm and not worried about things when things go wrong and not overly excited when things go great until the end, it really helps them kind of be like mimic your attitude and get through the day a little bit more comfortably. So
the secret's dick jokes. That's it. Just dick jokes all through the day.
Is it?
Helps keep people leveled.
I'll have to take that one on.
And then the last couple that we've got here is Caden Weller and Mr. Stupus. So Caden was
nutrition clients.
Yep, nutrition clients. Caden was working with me throughout the course of this prep. I think we started like October, November. Same sort of thing. He wanted to put a bit of weight on initially when we started, so we did start the prep a little heavier than what we probably anticipated. And throughout the course of the prep, lost a little bit of weight towards the beginning, then last 4 weeks, just kind of cruise control in around that 110 to 112 mark, and then just a little bit of water manipulation towards the end there to get him down where he needed to be. So really good, comfortable position for him. And then, on the day, was well fed. Everything went well in terms of the nutrition front. Didn't have the best day with his squats, missed a couple of squats there and stuff, but overall I think he said he had the second biggest deadlift, so he was very happy in his weight class, so he was very happy to be up there with you.
Was he in my weight class?
Yeah, 110s. Yep.
I couldn't even tell you the second biggest one because, like I said, everyone felt their third, so I couldn't even see it on the board.
Yeah, so he had a really good day. Overall, I think, again, he was just very happy to be there. And then we had Stupus. That Stoopy Doop is just
Stupid duper.
He's
does what he wants.
The biggest hype guy. So loud every single lift. Just by far one of the loudest persons that you'll have on the comp day. Just
a week before we'll have conversations like, are we going to do this thing? Because he has a lot going on in his life. He's opening a gym. He's doing heaps of crazy shit.
Yeah.
If you know if you know Stoop is like, you know, he's the type of personality where he's 100% all in on every aspect of his life. So like they just overlap into chaos, which I fucking love about him.
So
but,
he had
it's crazy.
He had a great day. He's got his 300 squat in sleeves. He was competing sleeves on the wrapped day with all the guys. Got a 350 deadlift, and then he didn't do any more benches. He just did his opening bench because he had a little bit of a pec issue
coming into the comp, brought it into the comp.
Yeah.
At what weight was he?
Under 90s, but he was under 95s, but he was like 88 kilos.
Classic Stoop. Trying to show people up. So the last two topics, because we've been going on for a little bit now, the last two quick ones that we have here. Zac, you were on one of your other jobs on the day was to report on the porta potties and how they were holding up. So, like, in your experience, in your investigation, like, how did they go?
So, through my formal investigation, by the time Sunday came around, they were not pleasant. To the point at which Alex was like, "Oh, I'm going to drive back to the Airbnb to pick up some food," and I went with him just to pee. Yeah. 4 days of powerlifting and porta potties. It's just not going to be a great time. I think we didn't need a formal investigation, but we like to be thorough here at Nexus, so I think one was full. Like, I'm pretty sure, because there was like piss in the bowl. Okay. Like, if it's coming back up, that's not good. It's full.
It's never a good time. Absolutely,
it's not great. That was nice.
I thought they were going to come and like do a bit of empty, like at least.
Well, they did on the Friday.
Oh, they did?
I don't know if they. Yeah. I don't know if on the Saturday anyone came because it was the weekend.
Yes, that is an issue.
But then you kind of assume that event hire companies would work on the weekend because events pretty much exclusively happen on the weekend.
Yeah. Especially if Marcus was like, "Hey, we've got literally hundreds of fucking heat off their head powerlifters scoffing, garbage down their throats for 4 days."
The amount of cold pizza being eaten post squats that I saw was ridiculous. Like, people just having boxes of cold pizza. It's like, why is that your first nutritional choice?
Yes. Yeah, not something we recommend. Not something you'll see on the Nexus Nutrition's comp day planning guides, but cold pizza goes hard. What can we say? It's a good choice.
Cold pizza slaps.
It's good. Yeah. So I can't not respect it. Not the best performance food, but I mean, like, it's tasty. I'll give them that. And the last one, just a real quick one. I did film some video content throughout the day, just of me talking like after my attempts, pretty much everything I've said now, but in video form, and all my videos of my lifts on the day and just footage from the day, 10-minute or so video that'll be up on the Nexus YouTube soon. It is finished very, very soon. So keep your eye on the Nexus YouTube for that one, and I'll share it through the social media channels as well, so that everybody can grab that and have a listen to me ramble about lifts on the day. All right, let's leave it there. If anybody has any questions or thoughts or again feedback about ProRaw or about like the day in general or about any of our lifters and wants us to answer it and hit it up, just send them through the website. NexusPerformance.Aus and just go to podcast at the top and get the feedback and just chuck it in. And no matter how short or general, we'll flesh it out into something useful and do either a whole episode or a partial of an episode on it. A guarantee. So that's a podcast guarantee. That one we will. We have a lot coming in.
We will do any topic.
We'll get to it.
Any topic at all.
Any topic. No. Other than criticism, we won't do criticism. But
as long as it's positive, we'll do the topic.
Yeah,
that's it.
Right.
That's the Nexus Performance Podcast promise. Red hot.
Let's do it.
Thank you for listening to Nexus Unloaded. Be sure to jump on our website to find details on everything mentioned on today's podcast, plus information on our coaching, mentoring, and gym services. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at NexusPerformance.Aus for any updates on what we are currently doing. See you all in the next episode.